Seattle Seahawks, second day of training camp. We're starting to see some of the storylines that have emerged. You were out there yesterday, Paul, so I thought that it'd be fun to run through kind of the reports that we're hearing, the discussions that we're hearing, and see how it matched up with what you saw. We'll start with Rashaad Penny. Rashad Penny has been, through the first couple days, and some of that's because he was interviewed yesterday, it's been the big storyline. For the second time in his career, he's in the best shape of his career. What do you look like?
I felt very skeptical yesterday when we talked about Rashaad Penny because Pete Carroll had said some pretty glowing things about him. I will say he had an explosive run, busting to the right, and that play looked like he was perhaps 100%. I will also say, though, it's difficult to get a read for what a running back is doing in training camp, especially at this phase, because it's touch football, but it's touch football where you still let the guy continue to run afterwards. There was a good moment for him. And this is weird because everyone, I think, got a little jumpy when it happened, but a player rolled underneath him, and it looked awkward, and he got right back up. And I would think that that's good for you as a player, big picture, confidence-wise, to have something like that take place and not get hurt so you're not freaking out that that could potentially happen, that you could blow your knee again at any moment. He looked, yeah, I would say like he is in shape. But how great is that shape? It's really difficult to tell when you're not running real 11-on-11 drills with full pads.
All right. Next guy, Akhello Witherspoon. He's a player that the Seahawks signed on. Essentially, he fits the part. We'll give him a shot to come here and compete for a starting job. He could end up being your starter opposite DJ Reed. How'd he look?
This might be a result of one number on his jersey because I noticed that Carlos Dunlap looked like the biggest human alive wearing number 8 as opposed to number 96, I think he was last year. So Akhello Witherspoon's wearing number 2. He looks the part. He really looks the part. He is long and long. And there was a play downfield where he had a deflection. I'm intrigued. I would say that it looks like if he were to be anywhere, it would be stepping in for Shaquill Griffin. And that maybe DJ Reed would not be moving from his responsibilities of last year. That's my coy way of saying what I saw without saying what I saw, if that makes sense, because there are rules.
Next guy, Daryl Taylor. He's been he looks explosive. Dunlap's talked about how good he is. He's going to get a shot at strong side linebacker. He's going to be essentially a rookie. He's another rookie added because he didn't play last year because of injury, and he's going to make a real difference on this defense.
I didn't notice him yet. And again, it's difficult at this phase, but I think we're both on the same page. We've heard a lot of great things about Darryl Taylor, but until he's got that action and he's in that action, it's a different story. He has yet to really face NFL competition. Don't you feel the same way that until you actually see him against other NFL players, full contact, full speed, we really don't know what to make of him?
I believe that's true. I also think that he plays the position in Seattle's defense that is the least likely to jump off the page at you. What he's asked to do is not rush the passer. It's asked a lot to do at the line of scrimmage. His job is to ragdoll the tight end. He's the strong side linebacker who needs to set the edge. It's not a position that lends itself to the kind of splash plays that you'll talk about. And if that's what he's going to play, he's drafted as a pass rusher. And he's moved and he's playing. And it doesn't mean that he's not going to be a valuable part of the defense. But if he's a pass rusher that's moving to strong side linebacker, that's not a great sign for how valuable he's ultimately going to be because the strong side linebacker is the least valuable of the 3 linebacker positions in Seattle's defense.
But what if you're really good at it? I mean, Bruce Irvin was really good at that spot.
He was really good at it. He was really good at it. He also was someone that when he got to free agency, they were like, thanks. Hey, cash in somewhere else. We'd love to. We're happy for you. It's the least valuable of the. It's just not a position where you're talking about, hey, is he going to be the next star? Probably not if he's playing strong side linebacker. I will be interested to see how Akhello Witherspoon fits in this secondary. He has a lot of the attributes that really tend to be accentuated in what Seattle does, and I do trust the Seahawks' ability to find corners. And they're in a position where they need to find some corners, right? Shaquill Griffin was a solid starter, and I'm okay with the decision not to pay him what Jacksonville was paying him. But, man, DJ Reed is your most established starting corner, and that's a guy who's basically been a starter for half a year.
Shaquill Griffin was not necessarily as big as probably the Seahawks wanted him as a cornerback, at least based off of, their past prototypes. They like the tall guy on that side, on the left corner spot. And I feel like with the combination of Reed, theoretically on the other side, and I would write this down in pencil, but that's my belief is what the starting cornerback tandem would be going into the year. Witherspoon gives you a range that you had with Sherman just in terms of his overall length, and now it's a matter of, is he going to be the kind of guy that he was at the beginning of his time with the 49ers, where he had a couple of really good games at the beginning of 2019. I mean, he was locking up with Mike Evans of the Bucs and looking really good, or is he going to be a little Trey Flowers-esque, where confidence-wise, when it's shaken, it really is shaken. Because that was his big problem in 2019. He got hurt, and then he came back, and he was just a mess and kept on getting picked on.
From what Pete Carroll said, Trey Flowers, who's been the starter and been someone that they've worked with through 3 years, is in his 4th year of his deal. He's going to be competing with DJ Reed. Like those guys are on that side, and it's kind of Pierre Desir, Trey Brown,
Demarius Randall.
Yeah, Demarius Randall a little bit, but Randall's even been a safety before. I think your 3 legit challenges to start on the other side are Akhello Witherspoon, Trey Brown, and maybe Pierre Desir. I think those are the 3 guys that are probably, and we'll see how it goes. And Marquise Blair and Ugo Amadi they're competing for that nickel cornerback spot, being that cornerback when they have 5 DBs on the field, which they're probably going to have a lot.
And it's going to take time for Waldron, too. I mean, this is Waldron's first foray as an offensive coordinator, and we can't definitively say that he is going to have the offense moving at a better pace than it was last year. We can't. We would love to, obviously, but, I mean, look, they already have setback number 1. I imagine they had some plans for Dwayne Eskridge this season, and, I mean, if he's starting the season on the PUP, look, whether it's 1 week or 2 weeks or months, like, this is a disaster for him, like a person. Yeah, like you as a rookie wide receiver, and Michael Bumpus has told us this, it's hard. It's really hard. Usually what you see is year 1 to year 2 is where a wide receiver really figures things out. That's why DK Metcalf has been such an anomaly. He's been so good his first 2 seasons, and he actually did make a leap from his rookie to his second year. But, yeah, if you aren't here for the installation of an offense and you're a rookie, you're in trouble. So this is training camp right now. This is a tertiary, a side conversation, but the next wide receiver, very curious as to who's going to step up. A lot of Penny Hart buzz yesterday at training camp.
Are you buying that?
I'm buying Penny Hart buzz more than I'm buying buzz for Daryl Taylor or for Rashaad Penny, because this has been something that Penny Hart, excuse me. This is something that Hart has been doing seemingly going back to OTAs, and he has done a very good job of just hanging on to this roster. There is something that they like about him. And remember, there's something they liked about David Moore, too. Moore splashed. When he splashed, he really splashed. So that's someone I'm keeping an eye on. And if you're Freddie Swain, you're probably going to have to step your game up.